Hello, this is part 5.2.1, episode 12 of the PAL level 19 compendium, playing 4 lines. So, next about 12 episodes, I will show game played, games played mainly 4 lines, but as I said before, it's something must overlap in them. In case of playing for Tetris, especially starts, there are pure playing 4 lines games are really rare, and uh, very often it's really worth to try to set up a Tetris. Setting up Tetris is really worth trying, but it will show up during analyzing this game. So for this part, I have only one. Let's look at this. This is the first one, so I will try to uh, analyze it placement by placement, but if there's something totally obvious, and then I won't say anything about this. The theory, super short, basically using the space that is on the right while getting the pieces to the left that fit the left properly. So yes, this is slowly from right to the left, and if there is too many pieces on the left because everything fits very well, then going from left to the right. It goes here, not here, not here, because there's still a lot of space and it doesn't fit the left as good as other pieces, for example like this, because now this point is filled, so uh, I don't know how to name it. This very left isn't totally flat, but totally green. This point, also an NTSC 19 when you're very high, gives a lot of opportunities to get pieces to the left in proper way when this point is filled. Here too, of course, when this point is filled and the rest is flat, next two points are empty. It goes here because this is, like I said, something will be about playing for Tetrises, because it overlaps and it's really nice to try to get a Tetris within first 10 lines when you risk almost nothing. That's why it's built like this. Now again it overlaps to a cleaning. And slowly building right, waiting for something to the left, creating very organized horse on the left makes the game very simple, not complex like this. Right before this, so you exactly know what to do with every piece. It's very, very nice when you don't have to think. I mean, or thinking. I've heard that the game is about calculating. I don't calculate anything. You may not believe, but I really don't see any deeper or longer than one piece calculation. It's all about especially PL 19, and there's just no time to calculate. It's about some very typical learned patterns and feeling what to do with the piece. That's why this complex setups. Like in the previous episode, this 4 parts of the board, when everything looks acceptable but nothing looks good, everything should be okay and everything can create some problems. It leads to this moments when the calculation would be needed to, because if the feeling is wrong, there may be some problems, creates a lot of mess in the board, a lot of, how to name it, the game is out of the rhythm. It's the same of technique. This skipping dust all the time. It's very important to keep the game being as regular as possible. Okay, now again it asks to build a fortress, but there's no piece. And a misdrop. Now it's typical cleaning, so out to the left. Again, this was more about the snap and again lines, using the huge space on the right to get pieces to the left. And again, this is beautiful how it fits to the left. Now, this all could have gone here, I think, but this probably is better. Again, playing for ice and burning, and now a kind of clearing, but there should be absolutely no problem. I put it here because there's a great chance to get it here. And after this, the board is very simple. There's not. I think this is the simplest board in true. When on par level 19, when there's too high hole on the left and everything's perfectly clear, like in this case this on the right, this point. There's this how many times you must have burned something like this before makes it very simple, of course, with time. Very this typical patterns, and you really know what to do. You know what to focus on. You must focus on the dust to get on this, so the rest you cannot over combine the other placements. The other placements were waiting for this because you're focused on what is in the future, what is very good. I mean, focusing on the future itself isn't good, but it's, I mean, you know what you will have to do, you exactly know what you will have to do, so you can prepare for it in a very good, very successful way. Just feeling this left, like in this case, must be very logical. There's in case of stacking, it would be really hard to do something wrong in a way that breaks the board significantly in this case. Again, this is like this apparent because this always can go to the left. And that was a misdrop. I'm not sure it's a misdrop, but it really looks like a misdrop. because this would be very risky. Because even after filling it here to set up a Tetris, there will be this hole, 2 white or 3 white hole on the left, and it will be 5 lines, no opened well. Very complicated setup to burn anything. This, in my opinion, this, even in case of forcing Tetris, this should be burned. It's again very fortunate that T was the next piece, so without dust. I think there was no dust, I'm not sure because I cannot remember everything, but it looks like there was no dust, and if there was no dust, Steve was very, very fortunate. Again, this is like the clearing stuff, but playing everything like clean takes a lot of these opportunities to set up a Tetris or to get this, to use this organized house like this, and you maintain it, building around them, and there's again, due to them, you know what you're going to do, you know what you're focusing on, and due to this, the game is becoming very simple. Whereas while in the same in case of clearings, but it's very important not to overcombine the playing for lines, not to make anything like this, like too much calculation. Calculation can be wrong if it's like you think you know some pieces must come, but they doesn't have to come because nothing has to come, and then there is a problem. But if there's one hole created intentionally in a very organized way, it happens extremely rarely something goes wrong. Of course, in case of stacking. For example, this is what I would call the compass board because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 spaces, 6, maybe not spaces, 3 spaces and 6 parts of the board. Very easy to, great chance to make something wrong. For example, putting T here and then nothing to fill the right and the problem. That's why if after this there's a T, I think it should go here immediately. Very unpleasant. Any setups like this are very unpleasant for keeping the board clean, especially while playing for lines. Whereas this is again, and in this case the left was piece filled, still a lot of space, something must come to the left and to the right, and again also to the left. Now this well asked to be set up, but I think that was played for lines starting from here, yeah, so that's why there's this burn. And again, this is this right setup, so this space stays empty for pieces that will fill the right in a way it's possible to burn a double here, not to create any problems with this horse both on the left, this huge hole on the left and this hole on the right. This also allows you immediately to take as much space as possible, not to take any of the space, not to split it, but use everything you can. And this is the difference between playing for lines and cleaning. In cleaning you must take what you want. here you have these two lines on the bottom, so you can use them just to be more comfortable, to avoid situations where it's possible to have any problems. So this controlled holes, like for example this is a control hole, very nice to have, very nice to maintain around it, and nothing bad should happen. Also again using as much space, it will be in sure very often the same. If there's no like typical pattern or something complex, it's all the time the same, using as much space on sides. If it's impossible, then there come these these patterns like this hole both on the for L here and for L here, and what to do. This happens very often, and very often this species doesn't come. These species don't come. It's very interesting, by the way, why it is so. Okay, so but in true, just this right, there's still a lot of space. Isn't as much of the space as possible. It's again all the same. Now very simple boards. Everything's totally straight to think about, to not to make any wrong decision. T or long bar here to the left. Now this the controlled hole with filled first column, waiting here for the pieces. If a perfect setup for while playing for ice, I think. Now again this controlled hole. Now it becomes a bit harder because it will be the same setup while waiting for the null, but it's free high, so longer is way better in this case than the L. Fortunately it comes in this case, and no burning, because this all, like I will repeat it a lot, always can go to the left. So it goes. This is a little bit unfortunate. Maybe it would be slightly better to put it here, but who would like to make tags while this is at least very good. This line doesn't matter significantly when there's such a burn setup. Still there was a lot of... This was like playing for Tetris's pattern, but still this is a little mistake. I think it should go here and then here to create this setup immediately, but still a lot of space to work with here. And out to the left, Longbar clears everything. If there's no Longbar and no O, then something here, and doing this burn pattern that opens everything immediately, so there's only one L needed. Of course the board is not very messy, but it's still simple. I'm not saying this board was good. It wasn't good, but it would be very unlikely to make a huge killing tactical blunder. Again, this was the controlled hole here and here. It's not based on any calculation, it's on part. It doesn't matter there was this piece, one piece, area or it wasn't. It's based on calculation. There's after it's not based on calculation. It's based on feeling and the pattern. If anything burns here, here can go 4 pieces. Long bar J L in both sides in true. Maybe I mean not in this way. L wouldn't after Brandestein. L doesn't go here in this way, but it goes here, and it's again very strict setup. T can go here immediately because it must be opened. There's almost no way. But it's not calculation. It's the feeling. This a setup that there which must get, which is almost guaranteed to get the proper pieces. Again, another control tool, and it happens also to the left now, a little bit greening, but everything's alright. That's another misdrop. Now, this was the pattern. This was also the pattern with this. Very interesting placement and very good, I think, that this, it goes here instead of here, because this splits the board here and here, makes it complex, while this creates only a little hole on the right that practically must be filled with something. I mean, this is, it doesn't have to be filled with something, because this is what I mean on the bottom, but in comparison to what it creates here with this hole, this is, having this one is way better than having this one here on the left. And after putting it here, there's even a chance everything of these 3 lines will be burned before this hole gets filled. But even if not opening, it means opening here. I mean, filling this point means opening this point. Filling this point is another burnt line, and even if this point stays covered, then it's only 3 high, so everything should be alright with the left, because there's a lot of space to maintain the left properly still. Now this was very unfortunate. This long bar should go to the right. I don't know if it's a mistake or I had no dust. Probably it's a mistake. But this is also this accidental Tetris, and why it's very bad to avoid them. If they come, just take them. If the game gives you a setup, like for example in this case, very often it will give good pieces to get a Tetris or burn it without any greater problems right after having the setup. And they are the only placements, so it's really great. This is only the only placement. It's also, it plays itself. The ideal example of how Tetris can set up itself on file level 19. Everything's again going to the left of pieces that fill it. Again, this controlled hole. Still a lot of space. Long bar. Something practically must come. Now this is a mistake. This L should go to the left. This, I don't know what this long bar does here, by the way. It's a mistake. It should go to the right. because here it splits the board. But if it's put here and this is put here, this L should go here to the left, following the rule of filling the left with pieces that fill it in a perfect way. Now this is the misdrop that killed the game. And chain, maybe not, I don't know if it's a chain reaction, but yes, it isn't a chain reaction because this next piece needed no dust, but I was unable to reload dust to put it here, and after this it's just totally bad, totally broken down. Maybe there's a chance after putting it here, but I put it on the left, so it's game over right now. And another misdrop here. Maybe it was possible to create one line that high, but it doesn't really matter in this case. Okay, so in the next episode, and in a lot of next episodes, another other level 19 100 plus lines games. So thanks, bye.